All right, so let's get the party started. This is the annual plan organizer, step-by-step process to getting it all done. And with every training I do every week, the goal is to give you something of value, something that you can take and implement into your business. If you have not grabbed a copy of the worksheets for this training specifically, you will 100% need these. So just comment wherever you're watching this, just comment below annual plan, and my team will get you a copy of these worksheets, and we'll be going through these today. This training we're doing is the annual plan organizer. It's coming off of two trainings that we've done in prior weeks. Last week, we did the 2023 growth plan, which for sure is worth going back and consuming. And the week before that, we did the preloaded year, which talks about how do you just put all of your marketing on autopilot so that you know without a shadow of a doubt that you will crush this coming year. And whenever you consume these, so you may come into my world and you may trip upon one of these trainings, and if you don't have a clear marketing plan, if you don't have a clear 3-year vision, 1-year plan, 90-day world, the weekly, win your week, crush your quarters, dominate your day, all of the stuff I've been going over the last couple of weeks, make sure you just get after it no matter what time of year it is. So let's get the party started. The goal here, and really I feel like my mission for our industry, is to help agents have something to show financially for all the effort they put into their business. And net worth isn't the only measure of success, not even close. But we have to build your business in a way where you have something to show for it. And that's in increasing your net worth and being able to do that, living a life worth living. So giving you more time off so that you can put first things first. That's the big promise of me being in here training on a regular basis and Real Estate B School. Everything I'm focused on for the industry is helping you to succeed in all the areas of life that matter to you. So the question is, same question as last week. I think it was the same question as 2 weeks ago. Do you have a plan in place to achieve meaningful goals in the areas of life that matter? And today is going to help with that, I promise you. The warning though, the amount of minutes that this training is, as it sort of sits here recorded, or if you're watching it live, I promise you will probably not have enough time to do all of the exercises. So this is something that you can go to a coffee shop or isolate yourself for, maybe 30 to 45 minutes after this training so that you can really sort of dig into this work. This is meaningful work that we're doing together. So why does this topic of not only, vision and planning, but really getting specific and organizing your annual plan? It's so easy, right? New Year's resolutions. How many people have made a New Year's resolution? Raise your hand. And then there's really not that much follow through, right? So this matters because in our industry, it's really easy to chase squirrels. A squirrel is a distraction. If you're a business-minded real estate agent, your wiring is probably like mine, where we're easily distracted. So it's like, oh, squirrel, squirrel. I actually, knowing that I'm susceptible, if you can see this, I have an actual like bronze sort of squirrel on my desk. My team actually gave this to me probably a dozen years ago or so as a constant reminder that squirrels are the things that take us off our stated goals, right? So this is the things we need to guard for. If you don't get this right, so if you're not sort of settling in and confident about a plan, you will feel off kilter and out of control, and the anxiety that will set in as a result of it is real. Most agents will never be in control of their business because they don't have a plan and they haven't organized themselves. So that is definitely not you. We want to take this sort of hopium that exists in the real estate industry. As I'm recording this, we're heading into a year, which is probably going to be one of the more dicey years that we've seen in the last 10 or 12 years, right? We're heading into 2023. All of this still applies no matter when you see this training, no matter when you go through it. It's the same process. There's a lot of hope. Like, I hope things are going to turn out well next year. And the reality is that it could go either way, right? So we don't want to put you in a position where it's just like, I hope next year is going to go well, but I really don't know if it's going to go well. We want to put you in the driver's seat. So that is the goal and the intention of everything I do, is to have you in as much control of your business as possible. Now, there are extenuating circumstances, things that happen, in our economy, things that will maybe make it a little bit harder. But with a plan, you can get through anything. And there is a clear pathway to profit. So get yourself in the driver's seat, clear path to a level of profit that you probably didn't think was achievable. That's the goal, so that you can absolutely be confident that you will crush it next year. So instead of, this fear, uncertainty, and doubt that you get by reading all the different headlines, you'll be in a position where you're really, really confident. So the question is, and take a moment to think about this, why do you want to crush it next year? What's on the line for you to crush it this coming year? Right? Maybe you don't have a lot to show for the last 2 or 3 years where the market was really good. Financially, you're not where you thought you would be, right? Maybe you're in the business. I talked to a guy who's been in the business for 30 years. Guy sells 60 to 80 homes per year for 30 years, and he has no liquid net worth. He doesn't, and he's maxed out on credit cards, and he does about 750,000 GCI. Right. So for someone like that, why the motivation is that he's going to end this cycle, this couple decade long cycle of never getting ahead financially. Right. So what is it for you? And if you need to think about that, this is stuff that's worth journaling about. So let's talk about how we get there, the step-by-step of getting there. This is the game that we're playing. I want you to screenshot this forever and always. This is what we're going to fall back on. We generate leads, we have conversations, we set consultations with buyers and sellers, we meet with them, we sign them up to be loyal clients, we do a great job, we get them closed, and we do it in a way where they are raving lunatic fans of ours, and they sing our praises, and this virtuous cycle sort of builds on itself. So every client turns into 2 to 3 clients from there. And that's how we scale a really profitable, playing by our set of rules, not the way Zillow or the other sort of lead aggregators want us to play. So that's the game that we're playing. And there's 5 things I want to get into. Some of these were covered if you're a good student and you were on the last couple of trainings. Some of these are going to sound similar. I'm going to cover them in a slightly different context, though. The cash follows the calendar. So as you think about the coming year, the things that you put into your calendar, those are the things that are going to have you successful in your real estate business and successful financially. It's actually not all that complicated. There are 5 things you can do to make a really good wage in real estate. They're PLANS: prospecting, lead follow-up, appointments, first-time appointments with buyers and sellers, negotiating contracts, not necessarily appraisals or repair contracts, but first time getting a buyer or seller under contract, and then building systems. That's it. Everything else is administrative in nature. It doesn't pay that well, even if it's critically important, right? So in terms of cash following the calendar, we have to make sure that these things are time blocked in our calendar. This is a good snapshot of what I think an ideal week should look like. We did a training called Time Freedom System. You can either find it on my YouTube or you can find it in Real Estate Business Builders. So either go to YouTube to find Time Freedom System, or you can find it here in Real Estate Business Builders on Facebook. But your calendar should look something like this, where all of the activities that you need to have in there are actually in there. And then just follow your calendar, and there's this amazing freedom and structure. This cadence of an annual plan allows us to sort of lay the tracks in terms of just thinking once, right? We get to decide either today as you're watching this, or if you have a time block after this where you go through the exercise, which we're going to go through the exercises here in a minute. It allows you to not have to wonder like how you're going to be successful next year. You just get to think once about this, and then you just get to execute on the plan. And then raise your hand virtually if you've heard of, rocks and pebbles and sand, the Stephen Covey analogy that if you focus on all the little things, the sand and the pebbles, you'll never fit the rocks in the jar, right? I think there's actually a YouTube video that shows that literally you can't fit the big rocks, the important stuff, in if you focus on all the little things first. So we're going to talk about that today. What are your rocks personally? What are your rocks professionally? What are the pebbles and what are the sand that make this the absolute best year ever? And then once you get that plan in place, you want to do a stress test in terms of, on the plus side, does this get me to where I want to get to in the next year? And then is this going to allow a lifestyle that makes it all worth it, right? So we don't want you to achieve your business goals and burn yourself out, or have a negative effect, have the business sort of negatively affect your relationships or your physical body, or all the collateral damage that can come from an unbalanced approach to business and life, right? So we want to make sure that what we do, this work that we do together in this annual plan organizer, we stress test it and make sure it's going to leave us where we want to end up. And then it's work the plan. I have used this analogy over and over and over again. If you look at that horse, the reason those things are over the horse's eyes is that horses, some of them, not all of them, but every real estate agent gets spooked. They get distracted when they're trying to run their race, but they're looking at the agents next to them. What are they doing? What are they doing? What's that agent doing that's selling a gazillion homes a year, right? We're constantly looking at what everyone else is doing, and we're not focused on what we're doing, right? So once we put this plan in place, you just work this plan. You have confidence in this plan. And that's it. So let's get into the work part of this. And this is where you will actually need this document, this annual plan organizer. Let me grab it. I'm going to pull it up here so we can kind of go through it. So you will need this. You cannot do this part. It'd be really lame if you try to do this part without this. So let me view. I want to make this big. I don't want to make it big. Zoom. Zoom out. That's not what I wanted. All right. I think that should work. All right. So let me take that off and make this a little bit bigger, and then we should be good to go. So let's jump over to the big rocks. So this is from a business perspective. These are the things that are going to make you money. And this is just an analysis of where you were this past year and where you want to be next year. So let's use an example of someone that sold 24 homes at an average commission check of 10,000. So, and it was 2 homes per month on average. So the monthly revenue in this scenario would be 20,000 this year. Number of clients will be 2 per month, or 24 per year. And then free days, and you're actually going to fill this out, right? And then free days are like, how many free days do you take in a typical month? Let's do it by month. And a free day is a day where you're not working at all. Be honest with yourself, right? Have you had, on a typical month, how many free days do you have, if any? And if you have too many, like if you have, if you're not selling a lot of real estate and you have too many free days, that could be part of the problem too. But go through monthly revenue, so 20K a month, 2 clients per month, and then number of free days per month. And then next year, let's say this example, they wanted to double their business. So they wanted to go from 20,000 a month to 40,000 a month. They wanted to go 2 clients per month to 4 clients per month. And they wanted to go from 2 free days per month to 8 free days per month. So they wanted to legit take 2 full days off per week, right? Anything's possible. Well, not anything's possible in a year. But if you don't set a target for where you want to be in a year, especially when it comes to time off, you have no shot of getting there. If you do 0 now, probably getting to 4 a month, taking Sundays off, a day of rest every week is probably a really great target. And then on the bottom here is, what are the money-making activities that you do in your business and the frequency at which you do them? So think about that. So if you go back to the ideal week, and there's new business development, lead follow-up. New business development, the frequency is, 3 hours per day, 5 days per week. I don't know that even if you generate, and I was never a cold caller. And so I was good at getting people to raise their hands, fill out a form online or call in, but it still required a conversation. It still required me having focused time blocks where I'm doing new business development. So that's 100% money making. Lead follow-up, an hour a day. That's the frequency, 5 days a week. So typically we go 8:30 to 11:30, new business development, take a half hour, go 12 to 1. We're doing lead follow-up, different activity. We're following up with folks that we hadn't contacted before. So that's 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. What else is money-making activities? Maybe you do 4 client giveaways every year. Maybe you spend time on the database. Maybe there's a big push this year on the database, and you're going to spend 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, just cleaning up and tagging and working on lead management sequences or lead follow-up sequence, nurture sequences for sellers and buyers. Maybe you're working on social media, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, where you're tactically, doing stuff on social media that's generating, actual interest in using you as their agents. As their agent, either buying or selling. Maybe it's a monthly market overview where you do Facebook Live or a monthly e-newsletter, that you can directly tag that activity to clients coming into your world. All right, so money making and frequency. So this allows you to really bridge the gap from where you are today to where you want to be in the future. So let's go into the big rocks in terms of the freedom that you want next year. And so you can see here, this is what, where, and when. It's the weekly sort of freedom practices or things that you're going to do to get freedom, the monthly, the quarterly, and the yearly. So let me give an example of when I was back in production, maybe just starting the team. Weekly, Sunday, one of the things I would do is I would take off Sundays. Very rarely did I work Sundays. So weekly, I knew I had that Sunday. I was still heavy in production, so I wasn't completely free in the business, but that was one thing I could do. Friday family night, right? Monthly or weekly date night with my wife, right? Monthly, we could, back then it was hard. We had young kids, but what will you do every month? Maybe there's you're going to take your wife away for an overnight or something. Quarterly, really critically important. Quarterly, a couple nights away with your spouse, or a family vacation once a quarter, right? And then annually, what are you going to do? Maybe twice a year, you're going to take an epic family adventure. Where are you going to go and when are you going to do it? So it's the what, the where, and the when. And then lastly, we have the Pebble. No, we have one more. So the Pebble Planner. So these are the deliverables in the business. So this is like monthly market snapshot, once a month, monthly e-newsletter, post on social media twice a week, new business development, 5 days a week, lead follow-up. This is just a one page where these are the things that you're going to do in the business to be able to ensure, the giveaway is 6 per year. We have a training in Real Estate B School called Become the Digital Mayor of Your Market, which is all about giveaways that are not even paid for by you. And it just creates a frenzy, and you're the name of all names in your market. So that's the deliverables. And then last thing here is the sand snapshot. So this is professional and personal, the things that are probably the more important things that we want to make sure we get in there. So professionally, what learning and development are you going to plug into? We are launching, as I'm recording this, in about 2 days, we're getting ready to give a $3,600 savings for Real Estate B School. Get into Real Estate Business Builders Facebook group if you want to learn more about that. But I'm going to give an annual savings of $3,600 to plug into our Business Foundations program, which is the intention is to get you to 500,000 GCI as quickly as possible. So maybe that's something that you'd focus on for next year. How about planning days? When are your planning days? Your quarterly, your annual? We have a cadence in Real Estate B School, a weekly planning, a quarterly planning, and an annual planning. And then if you have a team, one of the team trainings. Personally, What big family events do you have this next coming year? When are you going to hang out and nurture friendships? What big birthdays or hobbies or personal care? I'd have a 2-hour massage every Friday. I'm getting ready, probably a couple hours, I'm headed over there, right? So what are your personal care routines? And then last thing, and I've got mine here, is to map out your entire 2023. I literally just, I'm going to Jackson. I'm going to turn 50 next year. So I've got my son's 12 volleyball events on here. I'm doing a mission trip in Mexico, Jackson, Wyoming. I'm going skiing. I'm going hiking. I'm going to Hawaii. I'm going to Tokyo. I'm going to the beach for my 50th. I'm going to Lake Lure with the family. I'm going to Hilton Head. I have like 13 or 14 trips planned, but I do it in a way where I can balance out all of my obligations and still crush it in business, right? So this is a nice arts and crafts exercise that you can plug into. Really, really, really powerful. So take the time to do this work and then end it with, what are the takeaways? What actions will you do right now? What communications with a spouse or a loved one or a team member must you take right now? And then the only other thing I have to share with you, definitely stay tuned for that big launch of Business Foundations. But if you want to run further faster or go further faster, jump on a call with us. It's rebsgrowthassessment.com, where we will just figure out where you are today, where you want to be in the future, 1 and 3 years, and bridge the gap. What's holding you back? What have you tried? What's worked? What hasn't worked? How can we double or triple your business over the next 12 to 24 months when most agents are freaking out and they're getting in their heads? How can you step up and be the calm in the storm and grab an unreasonable amount of market share? So go to rebsgrowthassessment.com and stay tuned in this group, Real Estate Business Builders. If you're watching this on YouTube, jump over to Real Estate Business Builders. I'm going to announce, what am I calling it? The year-end real estate reset. And it gives you a $3,600 savings. So stay tuned for that. Much love, much respect. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.